sorry, I'm very shy, so I'm going to be reading my talk from my phone. And hopefully it goes okay. Hi, my name's Demi. I'm a small-time game maker here in Tamaki, Makaurau, and I got my start as an interface designer at TradeMe. It was a very dull job. I was mostly just moving squares around on a screen until money appeared. And then after corporate burnout, I kind of just tumbled pell-mell into making really bad interface games. Mostly for myself, and then players started picking them up. So I made this one here, and I'm working on this game at the moment, a small survey tool. And I just sort of really adore interfaces in games and how playful they can be. They're kind of my love language of sorts. I even won an Across the Ditch award at Free Play Parallels last year for my small online world, Idle. It's this game here. And so I really want to talk about my thinking about interfaces and my feelings, which I have so many of, and talk about a really common interface flow I see all the time in games, and why I think it's broken, and what we can maybe do to fix it by being lazier and better interface designers. I'm not going to name any games by name, by the way, and if you're using this interface flow, this is certainly not like a criticism of you or like a critique or an attack by any means. The nice thing about interface design is it is like an art form as much as it is a discipline and a craft, right? It's really yours to do as you please, and aesthetics and your feelings matter as much as evoking a sense of familiarity or guiding the user along. Maybe even more, I don't know. So this is merely me like observing something I've seen in a number of games I've played recently, and it seems to be really common, and so this is sort of a talk about what I would change given the opportunity. I'm talking about buying things in games, particularly the moment when you wander up to a shopkeeper or in a game and you tap the shop button and suddenly this kind of screen appears, right? One where you're allowed to scroll through an endless array of items to your heart's content, and until you sort of find the things you need. And once you've found your chosen thing, you'll be able to tap your primary button on your controller or your keyboard. And you'll so often see a screen like this. One was a slider that gives you the opportunity to finely tune precisely how many carrots you want using your joystick. And then you can tap or confirm or decline using your primary or secondary buttons. And then sometimes, rarely, but still sometimes, you'll see a screen like this. Something that asks if you're absolutely certain if you want to buy these 7 carrots for these 200-ish doubloons. And this is a really normal and good interface flow, by the way. Demonstrates a really keen understanding of interface design as a design language. Sorry, I need to stop moving around so much. And it's one that's grounded in a really traditional design philosophy that suggests the role of an interface is to ensure us, the players, has full control of our actions along the way, right? And we're guided from step A to B to step C. And every point of the decision-making process minimizes mistakes wherever possible. It looks nice on a portfolio site, and employers will really appreciate it. I don't know if this particular interface looks nice. I don't know if I'd hire myself. You get the general idea. But it's also a design language and sort of a design philosophy that emerged in part on sort of commerce sites, right? Commerce sites where you're spending real money to buy real things, and where mistakes can lead to real-world repercussions. In that kind of setting, it becomes imperative that you focus people's attention and give them full autonomy over their actions. But, however, this is not a commerce site. This is a game, and we're buying fake things with fake money. So none of what we're doing really matters. And those same consequences don't really apply here, and those same rules don't really apply either. And it's also taken us like 5 button presses to buy 1 carrot. And that is too many button presses for 2 little carrots. So something has gone awry. And depending on the kind of game you're making and the kind of rhythm you're trying to evoke in your players, it can really make or break the sense of flow you're in, right? All I want to do is smack skeletons over their skull with my sword, and suddenly I've spent the last 10 minutes painstakingly going through this interface, buying and selling carrots. So all those good guidelines for making good interfaces don't really work here. There's also one other glaring issue that comes to mind, and it's that I'm really lazy, and I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to design or code this screen, and I don't want to design or code this screen, because it's going to take me weeks, and I'm going to hate it. So, we're going to cut the screen, and we're going to cut the screen, and we're just going to focus on this one screen here. Because what we're really aiming for is 1 button press to buy 1 carrot. And so instead, we're going to limit the shop to just this one screen, and we're going to allow our players to make mistakes. And we're still going to allow them to sort of scroll to their heart's content. But now, instead, if you want to buy a carrot, you just sort of tap a button, or snap your joystick to the right. And if you want to buy 3 carrots, or so on, you can snap your joystick 3 times to the right. And you can also hold your joystick down to the right to increase velocity and buy as many carrots as you want over time, right? And you can also sell carrots by sliding the joystick to the left. And suddenly things are so much faster, and they're so much smoother, and they're so much more playful, and hopefully a little more fun as well. And all we've changed in our thinking is making the buying less precise, and making it messier, and allowing players to make more mistakes, but also fix those mistakes faster, and only slow the player down after they've made some mistake, not before. So no guardrails, only bandages is sort of my core philosophy. Let your players fuck up. They will learn to get good, I promise you. And that's kind of how I've been making my games of late, of just sort of being less precious with my players, and sort of tossing all reason and all my sort of former interface design knowledge to the wind, and being badder and lazier at design, and allowing my players to make mistakes and get burnt and get hurt, but also give them the tools to learn and grow and get better, hopefully, and sort of nudge them in the right direction. And hopefully, with that, sort of make a much more simple but also more playful experience along the way. Anyway, that was my talk. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope there was something there to learn about. I'm not sure there was, but I enjoyed making it. So if you want to hear more of my ramblings, you can find me over on Blue Sky under Cuddlepunk, where I never talk about design. Instead, I just write bad haikus, but you're welcome to nudge me about questions all the same. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can take questions. Does anyone have questions? No? Okay. Oh yeah, please.
Did you implement that interface for the store?
I haven't yet. I was planning on doing it at some point. Truly, making these 2 screens took too much time. And I was like, damn it, I can't believe I have to design these screens as part of this talk, just to demonstrate how bad they are and how much they annoy me. Yeah, anyone else? Perfect, I think that's me. Oh, sorry. Hi.
What's kind of like the most playful like interface that you've made?
That's a very good question. I mean, my interface designs are still quite conservative design-wise. I still have that like grounding. Um, I'm working on a survey tool for kids at the moment where they can answer questions. Even kids with learning disabilities and similar. And so we have this little microphone that you can sort of tap to record and stuff. And that's performed really well. That's maybe the most playful thing I've been working on of late. But yeah. Anyone else? Oh, please.
So that was an example for sharp interfaces.
Yeah.
Why you talk about having applied that philosophy to sort of other interface?
Yeah, for sure. Hold on, let me pull up a screen. I wish I had more examples. When I made this talk, I was like, hey, 10 minutes is plenty of time. I can talk about everything I want. And then I got 8 minutes into writing my talk and was like, I have not said a word yet. This was the game that won me the Free Play Parallels Award last year. And it's sort of a little online world, similar to Club Penguin and sort of games of that era. And one thing I specifically focused on is a lot of these games, if you want to type something to someone else, put it into the world, you have to go down to a little menu, you have to write it out, you have to tap a little enter button on the screen, and it appears in the world. The way this game works is you just start typing on the screen, and it appears. And so you start just cutting back at all these interactions and all these sort of safety measures. And what you realize when you do that along the way is these safety measures didn't really need to exist at any point anyway. People will make mistakes once or twice, and then you just naturally learn the way you learn any other mechanic in the game. Yeah. Thanks.